Here we have a list of math scores from an SAT exam. We have scores, you notice we start at number 2, they go all the way down to 39, so there's a total of 38 scores. What we want to do is find the mean, the median, and the mode for these scores. Now I'm going to use Excel a little bit just to save some time. If I didn't have Excel, I'd have to do a lot of this stuff by hand, which isn't too bad when you're dealing with smaller sets of data, but really large sets of data, it could be a problem. Anyways, for this problem, the very first thing I want to do is I want to arrange all of these scores so that they're in order from smallest to greatest. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here and I'm going to just sort these. I've got to highlight them first. And I'm just going to sort them from, I have them from greatest to smallest. You could go from smallest to greatest. The main idea is that we have them in order. Okay, so that's the first thing I'm going to do. That's going to help me when I start to calculate the median and the mode. So the first thing I want to do is I want to find the mean. Okay, so to find the mean, that is what we typically think of as the average. So what we want to do is we want to add up all of these numbers and divide it by the number of scores. So I'm just going to use the summation feature on this just to save some time, but if you were doing this by hand, you'd have to just put all these numbers into your calculator to get the sum of that. So I find that the sum is 18,552. So I'm going to take that number and divide it by 38. So I'm going to put a little equation in here. I'm going to say 18,552 divided by 38. And we find that the average score, or the mean score, is a 48.21. And we're going to round that, so I'm going to change these decimals to just 2 decimal places. And we'll just go 1 decimal place. Alright, so there's the mean, the average score, 48.2. Now, the next thing I want to find is the median, which is the middle score. So if we had a total of 38, the middle score, or the middle of that data, is right in between the 19th score and the 20th score. So I'm going to highlight the first 19. I'm going to color those yellow. I'm going to highlight the last 19, and I'm going to color those something besides yellow. We'll go with a kind of a pinkish hue. So the middle score would actually happen right between those two. So in this case, what I have to do is I have to find the average between 497 and 503. So I'm just going to type in here equals, and I'm going to add the 503 plus the 497, and I'm going to divide that by 2, and we find that our median, our middle score is 500. And then the last thing I want to do is I want to find the mode, which is the score that happened the most frequent. So if we look at all this data, it doesn't look like there's too many repeats until I get to 521, and I see that there's 2 that had a score of 521. None of the other scores repeat, so that means that our mode is 521.